There's a certain stage in one's life, and for me it was the fall of my senior year of high school, when one's mind is vulnerable, overcredulous, liable to latch onto and unquestioningly accept worldviews that promise clarity and simplicity and ignore or have outright disdain for nuance. This is the fertile ground of fanaticism. Males in their late teens and early 20s seem especially prone to falling down this rabbit hole of righteousness. Afflicted individuals apprehend the world through prisms of certainty. They are right, others wrong. And resentment. How can the sheep be so blind? You might recognize this phenomenon in the characters like Holden Caulfield, Raskolnikov, or Hamlet. They're an enduring archetype in literature, probably because we see younger versions of ourselves reflected in them and are hopefully embarrassed and horrified by what we see. Anyway, it was during this stage that Ayn Rand entered my life. I read The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged as a 17-year-old, and I'm ashamed to say that at the time, I loved them. Rand's philosophy of objectivism was the fool's gold that had me so enthralled. Objectivism instructs us that the highest aim of life is to pursue the personal happiness. It venerates rugged individualism and denigrates the collective. Religious belief and mysticism are also considered worthless, but it's mostly the communist ideology of Lenin and the Bolsheviks that Rand tries to undermine in objectivism. The greater good is not good at all. Greed is good. Ego is good. Genius should be unconstrained by societal norms that seek to tame or control it. Of course, this is exactly what 17-year-old me wanted to hear. I can't imagine anything more punk rock. As a teacher of 17-year-olds and a former 17-year-old myself, I think 17-year-olds have an inclination towards self-absorption that is natural and mostly healthy. A mature sense of identity later in life requires that you go through a teething stage of preening. So when 17-year-olds indulge in egotistical behavior and delusions of grandeur, I say, more power to you. Ayn Rand, however, was 38 years old when she wrote The Fountainhead. To Rand, I say, you should have known better. And to the people who are well into their adult lives and who view The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged as great works of literature and worthy of basing entire ideologies on, I say, what? Reading Ayn Rand as a high school senior might have given me some self-confidence, but it came at a cost. I looked down on other people. I was meaner. I had contempt for others. This is not the sort of perspective you want to carry throughout your life. It's classic wound collector incel stuff. Here are some of my favorite one-star Goodreads reviews of The Fountainhead. Vartika writes, "This is a very useful book. My partner and I use it as a litmus test for figuring out which of our acquaintances are driven or amused by selfishness, egotism, and misogyny. Since it's also over 700 pages long and quite heavy, we occasionally use it to whack each other on the head whenever the other person is bullshitting or doing something excessively stupid." Ryan writes, "This book is the equivalent of a drunk, eloquent asshole talking to you all night at a bar. You know you should just leave and you could never explain later why you didn't, but you just sit there listening to the guy ramble on. It's all bullshit, and his arguments defending, say, his low-key but all-consuming misogyny aren't that good and don't even really make sense. But just for a second you find yourself thinking, the man might have a point, before you catch yourself and realize that no, he is just an asshole. You feel dirty and bad afterwards, realizing how close you came to the abyss. Nietzsche said something to the effect of, if you gaze long enough into the abyss, it will gaze back into you. So having gazed into the Ayn abyss and having the Ayn abyss gaze back into me, I ain't never gonna make that mistake again." Thanks for watching.